I think this person asked this question with a different angle, but now I'm curious why we don't preach about that more often around here if it is something that can take people off track.
Very good question.
Well, this is pick on Greg night. I get it. All right, fine. No, here's the thing, is that
we're in Luke.
I'm aware of the fact that, we're in Luke.
Sorry, buddy.
And I want to stay there. Luke is safe. Well, I think you have heard me preach on this a number of times. It comes up whenever it's relevant, that being preoccupied with the details of the end times is a waste of time. I think I say that fairly regularly, don't I? If you've been around, that it's to me, honestly, I don't see the difference between reading the book of Revelation as though it's a kind of a cryptogram of the events that are going to take place the last 7 years of history, on the one hand, and going to a tarot card reader or tea leaf reader and trying to figure out the details of what's going to happen in your future on the other. It's a form of divination, I think, and at best, it's just not productive. And so you do hear me preach a lot on the need to live our life now as passionately as possible. I really think if we're living life right, then if you found out the world was going to end tomorrow, it shouldn't make a difference. If you're going to die tomorrow, or die in 5 years, what difference could that make? Let alone, what difference could finding out the details of that make? Why would I want to go to a tarot card reader and to figure out how exactly I'm going to die, when I'm going to die? Will my head go through the windshield? Will I lose consciousness before it goes through the windshield? What will my last words be? Why would I want to? See that, and looking at the book of Revelation to try to figure out those kind of details. Who's the Antichrist? Who's this? Who's that? I really think that is just pretty much on the same lines. Now, the thing is that it's hard to just say that, and my fight isn't with the book of Revelation, or even with the particular interpretation of the book of Revelation. It's with the attitude that some bring with it and the preoccupation that they have with this futuristic reading. And so the reason I don't make an issue out of the book of Revelation itself is that immediately, unless you have time to kind of explain it more and go into all of that, if people who just came in from the first time, they have this, they read the Left Behind series, they really have a lot invested in that view of Revelation. Well, then if I go after the details of the interpretation of the book rather than just the attitude, what you just do is cause people a lot of confusion and anger and all sorts of stuff.
Confusion and anger isn't your point?
Well,
sometimes. No,
yeah,
I'm just
sometimes if
kidding.
you have to, you have to.
All right.
But the other thing is that, the preterist or the idealist or the progressive or the futuristic interpretation of Revelation isn't part of what we at Woodland Hills want to rally around. This isn't we are the people who believe the preterist view of Revelation. And I try to, in messages, stick to the core of what we rally around. What is it that defines this movement? And that's why I do want to rally around living now, living in the present, living passionately, and not being preoccupied with the future. How you work that out with your interpretation of the book of Revelation is of much secondary importance to me.
I don't have much to add except a personal anecdote. This is my Bible I've had since my brother gave it to me when I was a sophomore in college. I just begun to get serious with the Lord, and he was my present to me. In the back of it, there's 10 pages of blank notes. The first 7 of them are filled up with my first Bible study I did after coming back to the Lord at age 20. And there, of course, on the first thing I'd wanted to study was the book of Revelation, because I wanted to know who the Antichrist was. And so this is 1979 and 80. And I keep them there because although they're profoundly confused and completely wrong now that Russia's gone,
they're coming back.
I keep them there to remind myself never to spend a year of my life like this again. Because I had Hal Lindsey completely nailed, and Hal helped me. And now it's this is all wrong. It's Gog isn't made. It's so, yeah.
It's really interesting to watch the revisions that the apocalypticists go through. and how things have changed. When I was first saved in '74, it was the same thing, Russia and whatever.
And
now it's
Kissinger.
more China. They're focusing on China, and Kissinger, we were sure was it,
Yeah,
and now it's
for
not
sure.
Kissinger so much, and yeah, they just keep updating the material.